Hi, welcome back. I'm Darla Beam with DB Leadership. It's week 16 of our 52-week awakening journey, and we're talking about the Four Agreements by Dan Miguel Ruiz. And this book was so transformational for me in so many ways that I really wanted to share it with all of you. The Four Agreements, according to Dan Miguel Ruiz, is a way to create heaven on earth, to shift from creating our own suffering, creating our own hell on earth, to being in heaven. To really, it's not a religious thing, it's to being in bliss, creating our own bliss, taking ownership, being our own leader within, right? That we've been talking about all along, and creating our own bliss. And I just want to kind of check in and say where we're at as we're still in the conversation of containers. Containers are the component that holds all of the stuff of our relationships, right? And each reed is an agreement or a value or a boundary. And the stronger that container is, the stronger our relationships are. And we're always in relationship, either with ourselves or with others. So what are the Four Agreements? Agreement number one is be impeccable with your word. And Miguel likes to say that even if you just adopt this one agreement, your life will shift overnight. And for me, this was actually very, very true. And I'll tell you a quick story before we go on to the other agreements. Now, I adopted this being impeccable with my word and not contributing to gossip and bringing in toxic energy, or like the book says, creating black magic in the space. So I had an experience where I was in conversation with a family member, and this person was sharing something about another family member who was not present. And I'm sure it was well-intentioned, the person needed to vent, or there was something else going on. And yet it felt unimpeccable for me to be engaging in the conversation the way that I was. And I just simply said, my agreement is not to gossip. So after you speak to this person, I'll be happy to talk to you. Or if you're sharing this with me so that you can go and share it with them and be more in a more grounded place, I'm happy to continue, but I do not gossip. And the person was a little bit taken aback at first, right? It sounds like a boundary. And yet this created for me, because it wasn't about that other person, adopting this agreement created such peace for me. And I have this agreement with all of my family members. They're very clear on this. And because I'm so clear on it, and it has shifted so much for me in my life and at the holidays and anytime. Be impeccable with my word. Number one. Number two is don't take anything personally. It's never about you. It's never about you. Even when someone says you're a this or you're a that, it's not your business what other people think about you. Byron Katie likes to say that. I love that quote. It's their business. Now, there might be something in there, some wisdom, something for you to look at, to clean up. That's for you to look within and go to your own leader within. It's never about you, so don't take it personal. Agreement number three is don't make assumptions. Our brains are literally hardwired to make up stories in the absence of data. We make assumptions. We are meaning-making machines. And the truth is that much of what we make up is not even close to being reality. So don't make assumptions. Agreement number four is always do your best. And very few people say, I'm going to do a crappy job right now, right? We are almost always in every moment doing our best. And it doesn't help to criticize and put ourselves down or look back and say, I could have done a better job. Because in that one very moment, in that present moment, we were doing our best. So those are the Four Agreements. And I want to give you a really quick story that I was given permission to share. I had someone I was working with, and he was telling me a story about how he was very stressed about residency and applying for residency and taking his medical boards. And the reason why was because all of these other people were so talented, and that because they were talented, it was going to make it very difficult for him to succeed. And I brought his attention back to a story in his childhood, in his young adult life, where he was invited to play ball at an elite level. And he walked into the gym or the auditorium or arena where he was going to play, and saw all these talented people. And he literally, in those moments, he broke every agreement. He said, I am not as good as them. He was unimpeccable with his word with himself, right? He looked around and said, these people are more talented than me, and it means something about me. He took it personal and made assumptions that they were much more talented than he was. And so he definitely did not play his best. So what I want to say, well, it was his best in that moment. I want to say that. It was his best in the moment because he was breaking all the other agreements. And what I want to say is, right, because of that, and in this, we brought that forward into the conversation, and he's related that to his boards. And so getting clear about that, he made agreements that other people were better than him, and bringing that into today, he's able to make new agreements. He's able to break those old agreements and make new agreements so they can be impeccable with his word. And that's what he's doing now. It's what he's focusing on now. So this matters. It's going to make a difference for him in his life with his patients, right? And it will make a difference for you. I know this because I have done this myself. So here's your practice for this week, okay? We've got a few options for you. The first one is print these 4 agreements, write them down and post them and practice them for the next week, all right? Teach them to someone, all right? Teach the 4 agreements. Assign an accountability partner, someone that you know that will help hold you accountable, that you work with or you interface with a lot. And the last one is in the show notes below. I want you to go to a free audiobook, and you can listen to this book from beginning to end and really take it in. It's a really beautiful book. I hope this video has helped you. Really looking forward to hearing how it goes and what you've learned. And I look forward to seeing you next week in week 17, where we are going to clean up dirty containers. So I look forward to that and wish you lots of presence and honoring those 4 agreements. Lots of love. Bye-bye.